Hello, and a very warm welcome to SportsLumo Special Olympic Series 50 Greatest Olympic Moments for India. I am Siddharth Vishwanathan, Editor-in-Chief of SportsLumo.com, and in this special episode, our hockey saga continues. In the previous episode, I had spoken about the 1972 Munich Olympics bronze. In this, I will focus upon the 1968 bronze for the India hockey team in 1968 Mexico City Olympics. India hockey was undergoing a rather volatile time in the 60s. They had, for the first time in their history, settled only for silver in the 1960 Rome Olympics when they lost to Pakistan. In 1964, they secured the gold again. 1966 Asian Games in Bangkok saw India beat Pakistan. So there were questions. It came as a surprise that many people were questioning the quality of the side heading into the 1968 Mexico City Olympics. There were 3 to 4 positions vacant. But this side had something very unique to it. In the history of Indian sport, one does not recall that in one squad there would be 3 people with the identical names. In the India's hockey team of the 1968 Mexico City Olympics, there were 3 Balbir Singhs. Balbir Singh 1, Balbir Singh 2, Balbir Singh 3. In addition to the previous Balbir Singh Senior, the Great, in the 1956 and the 1960 and the 1952 Olympics. Not only that, the Punjab connect was very deep, not just in India but for another team, Kenya. In the India versus Kenya match, it was unbelievable that there were 7 people who had hailed from the same village in Sansarpur, Punjab. Yes, folks, 7 people, but 2 were playing for Kenya. Jagjit Singh and Harvinder Singh were playing for Kenya. For the Indian side, there was Ajit Pal Singh. There were the 2 Balbir Singhs. And there was one more player from Sansarpur. The core of the side was intact. But what would go wrong in the 1968 Mexico City Olympics? There would be infighting. Cricket was introduced to the 4-captain theory rather, multiple captain theory in the IPL in the start of the first decade of the 21st century. Well, guess what, folks? The multiple captaincy theory was applied even in hockey, and that was 41 years before the IPL. There were 2 captains. The federation had a big fallout with one of them. The team was divided. India started their steady but terminal downhill, but they still defied the odds and they secured the bronze. This episode focuses upon the India hockey team, their infighting, their multiple captaincy theory, and yet how they managed to secure the bronze medal. Before the India hockey team went to Mexico for the 1968 Olympics, there was already infighting. Prithpal Singh and Gurbaksh Singh were designated to be the joint captains because the India Hockey Federation at that time chose Prithpal Singh over Gurbaksh Singh. Gurbaksh Singh, who had escaped the travails of partition from Pakistan and had come to India, made his displeasure very public. There was divided support for both Prithpal Singh and Gurbaksh Singh. Thus, the India Hockey Federation made the unprecedented decision at that time to make the defending and the reigning Olympic gold medal champions give them 2 captains. They made this decision in pressure of public support. What followed was clearly a strain on the India hockey team in 1968 Mexico. For the first time in their history, they lost a league game. It was to New Zealand. For the first time in history, the India hockey team had lost a league game in the Olympics. They bounced back in style by beating Mexico 8-0. But against Spain, they faced their toughest test. They won 1-0. But the hidden story was that Munir Seth, the goalkeeper of the India hockey team, saved 12 penalty corners. At that time, there was no chest padding, there was no protection as such. 12 penalty corners, he took it all on the chest, he took it all on the body. Munir Seth put his body on the line and he ensured India reached the next round. It was a heroic and brave performance. Imagine the force of the hockey ball hitting you with no protection. A tremendous achievement by Munir Seth, and that gave the India hockey team some confidence amidst the infighting, amidst the distractions, amidst ego tussles. The performances against Spain ensured that India had a clear mind and they had to win. But there would be other issues that would crop up as the tournament came on. It would be a sad end for India, and it was the beginning of the end for India hockey at that point in time. They had beaten Mexico but had lost to New Zealand. They somehow managed to beat Spain. But in the semi-finals, it proved to be a bridge too far against the Australians. Australia waited and patiently waited. They wanted India to make the mistakes, and it happened. India fell into the trap. Australia won the match 2-1, and India were relegated to the bronze medal playoff against West Germany. Pakistan had defeated West Germany, and now the showdown was between Pakistan versus Australia and India versus West Germany. India put out all the stops and they played some attacking and inspired hockey, and they won the match 2-1 to settle for bronze. But what would have hurt them more was the fact that their arch rivals, Pakistan, managed to beat Australia, and they finally won the gold medal after 8 years. For India, it was a very disappointing campaign, not helped by the infighting and the divisions. The twin captaincy theory was ridiculed. It did not benefit Indian hockey at all. But sadly, 1968 would be the beginning of the end for India hockey. They secured bronze, I would say, in 1968 and in 1970. But with the game of hockey getting upgraded to the turf conditions rather than grass, the terminal decline had begun. India did not win a medal in the 1976 Montreal Olympics. They won gold in 1980, but that was because of a very depleted and weakened event. From that point onwards, there was only pain. Nothing in 1984 until 2004. In 2008, they did not even qualify. In 2012 and 2016, especially in 2016, they were really close to getting to a medal. But in 2016, they lost in the quarterfinal to Belgium. There is immense hope from the India men's hockey team that they could go back to their glory days in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. But the task is a very uphill one. 1968 was perhaps the base from which Indian hockey started to crumble. But it does not take away the fact that despite everything, India managed to maintain their medal-winning consistency. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this special episode of SportsLumo's 50 greatest Olympic moments for India in the Olympics. I will be back with more instances, more anecdotes in India's glorious 93-year representation in the Olympics. Press the subscribe button, tap the bell icon, like, comment and share, folks. Spread the word. SportsLumo is your one-stop platform for all these interesting anecdotes relating to the Olympics. In the next episode, I will focus upon a dynamic and legendary duo. But before that, there was one Superman who had given India glory. Do not miss that episode, folks. It's worth your time. Thank you and stay safe.